Bolometer basically, as I told, is a linear type. It is an instrument to detect thermal radiation due to Luhmer and Kerlbaum, and it is fitted with a galvanometer. G is a galvanometer. So the deflection produced in the galvanometer gives the intensity of the radiation, what is represented as E lambda. Let me recap. The radiation from a black body was focused on a slit S by a concave mirror M1. The slit here is placed at the focus of another concave mirror M2, so that the radiation after reflection from mirror M2 becomes parallel. So the parallel beam of radiation is allowed to incident on a fluorspar prism ABC. Here glass prism is not used because glass prism absorbs certain heat radiations. The prism produces the spectrum of radiations. That is, different wavelengths are deviated in different directions. So the emergent dispersed beam is incident on another concave mirror M3 here. This mirror focuses different wavelengths at different angles. The radiations are detected by means of a bolometer. Bolometer is nothing but an instrument to detect the thermal radiation. The bolometer is fitted with a galvanometer, G. So the reflection produced in the galvanometer gives the intensity of the radiation, which is represented as E lambda. So this is defined such that the quantity E lambda d lambda is the energy for wavelengths lying between lambda and lambda plus d lambda emitted per second per unit surface area of the black body. I told you that the deflection produced in the galvanometer gives the intensity of radiation represented as E lambda. This is defined, what is the intensity of radiation? It is defined such that the quantities E lambda d lambda is the energy for wavelengths that are lying between lambda and lambda plus d lambda, that is getting emitted per second per unit surface area of the black body. So the wavelengths at different parts of the spectrum can be calculated by prism dispersion formula. Instead of rotating bolometer to obtain different wavelengths maxima, the mirror M3 can be rotated about a vertical axis and different maxima are obtained and were detected by bolometer. This experiment was repeated for same wavelengths at different temperatures. Readings are noted down and then a graph has been drawn between the intensity E lambda and the wavelength lambda at different temperatures. And graph showed certain curves. Let us understand the graph and then interpret the experiment results from that. This is the experiment result based curve of Luhmer and Pringsheim experiment. Curves were like this. Now if you look at these curves, we can find certain points. We can say that the emission from a black body at any temperature is composed of radiation of all wavelengths. Different wavelengths are being seen here. So it's composed of different wavelengths at different temperatures. Therefore, the emission from a black body at any temperature is composed of radiation from all wavelengths. And then, at a given temperature, the energy is not uniformly distributed. There is a difference. The energy is not uniformly distributed at a given temperature. As the temperature of the black body increases, the intensity of radiation for each wavelength also increases. This shows that the total amount of energy radiated per unit area per unit time increases with rise of temperature. Now I have used the word total energy of radiation. So the total energy of radiation at any temperature is given by the area between the curve corresponding to that temperature and the horizontal axis. So the increase in area can be found in accordance with the Stephen law. So that is by integrating E lambda d lambda between 0 to infinity, we will get that total energy radiation, which is nothing but Stephen law, sigma T4. So the amount of radiated energy or radiant energy emitted is very small at very short and very long wavelengths. So at a particular wavelength, let us say lambda m or lambda maxima, lambda m, let us say at a particular wavelength, most of the energy is emitted at wavelengths not very different from lambda m. So the wavelengths corresponding to the maximum energy represented by the peak of the curve, shift towards the wavelengths corresponding to the maximum energy represented by the peak of the curve, shift towards the shorter wavelengths as the temperature increases. So this is the shifting towards the left of this graph. So this is called Wien's displacement law. Wien's displacement law. I am recapping. The amount of radiant energy emitted is small at very short and very long wavelengths. At a particular temperature, the spectral radiancy that is nothing but E lambda, is maximum at a particular wavelength. So the maximum wavelength is represented as lambda m. Most of the energy is emitted at wavelengths not very different from lambda m. So the wavelength corresponding to the maximum energy represented by the peak of the curve shifts towards the shorter wavelengths as the temperature increases. This is what is called Wien's displacement law. So according to Wien's displacement law, we can arrive at that maximum wavelength lambda m and the corresponding temperature. The product of these two can be constant. So this is what is meant by Wien's displacement law, which anyway we shall derive it later. So lambda m into T. Lambda m is the maximum specific particular wavelength for the spectral radiation, and T is the corresponding absolute temperature. So the product is found to be constant, which is known as Wien's displacement law. Now this shows that as the temperature is increased, the black body emits the radiation of shorter wavelengths such that the product of temperature and maximum wavelength is found to be constant. With this background, let us focus on understanding some of the laws of thermal radiation, like Kirchhoff's law, Stephen Boltzmann law, Planck's law, Rayleigh-Jean's law, Wien's displacement law, one after the another. Let us understand briefly about each of them. So in the journey of learning laws of thermal radiation, let us first look at understanding Kirchhoff's law. Kirchhoff's law of thermal radiation says that at a given temperature, the ratio of emissive power to the absorptive power for a given wavelength is same for all bodies and is equal to the emissive power of a black body at the same temperature. Kirchhoff's law states that at a given temperature, the ratio of emissive power to the absorptive power of a given wavelength is same for all the bodies and it is equal to the emissive power of a black body at the same temperature. So to understand the Kirchhoff law statement just now I mentioned, as far as thermal radiation is concerned, consider the case of a body with any type of surface at equilibrium. The body is considered to be at equilibrium in an enclosure of uniform temperature. So in that situation, let us say the energy dQ dq is the amount of energy within the wavelength range of lambda and lambda plus d lambda. So let this energy dq that depends only on the temperature be incidenting on the unit area of the body per second. Now, in that situation, the energy absorbed by the body should be equal to energy emitted by the body. So therefore, we have energy absorptive coefficient as well as emissive power coefficient. So we'll take them as A lambda, E lambda. A lambda or E lambda are nothing but absorptive power and emissive power. So therefore, if total energy absorbed is equal to total energy emitted, then we can write with this energy dq between the wavelengths range lambda and lambda plus d lambda. So we can write as A lambda dq lambda equal to E lambda d lambda. Okay. Here A lambda is the absorptive power and E lambda is the emissive power of the body. So therefore, from this we can say, by taking the ratio, cross multiply, you will have E lambda by A lambda is equal to E lambda by A lambda is equal to dq lambda by d lambda. This is found to be constant. Why it is constant? Because dq by d lambda depends only on temperature, and for a given temperature it is constant. That's why this is constant. This is what is known as Kirchhoff's thermal radiation law or Kirchhoff's law of thermal radiation. Okay, let us look at another law. That is Stefan-Boltzmann law. This law already we have seen earlier class also. Let me just quickly recap about Stefan-Boltzmann law in terms of thermal radiation. Now this law states that the total amount of radiant energy emitted by a black body per second per unit area is directly proportional to the fourth power of its absolute temperature. So therefore, the total amount of radiant energy, if it is represented as E, absolute temperature represented as T, then it shows that E is proportional to T power 4. Therefore, when you, as usual, mathematically, when you replace a proportionality constant, you will have an equation with a constant. Therefore, E is equal to some constant into T power 4. That constant we named as sigma, which is nothing but Stefan's constant, whose value earlier we have seen as 5.67 into 10 power minus 8 watt per meter square per Kelvin per 4. Now this law, Stefan-Boltzmann law, is strictly true only when the medium surrounding the black body is vacuum. Stefan established this law experimentally in the year 1879. The same law was established in 1884 by another scientist known as Boltzmann, theoretically also from thermodynamical considerations. Hence, this law sometimes is what is known as Stefan-Boltzmann law. To understand this, consider the case of a black body, let us say A, at an absolute temperature T1, which is surrounded by another black body, let us say B, at absolute temperature T2. That means, consider the case of a black body A at absolute temperature T1, which is surrounded by another black body at absolute temperature T2. Now, the heat lost by the black body is at T1 is sigma T1 power 4. The amount of heat absorbed by the black body A from the black body B is sigma T2 power 4. The second body. That means amount of heat lost by one body should be equal to amount of heat gained by another body. So one is sigma T1 4, another is sigma T2 power 4. Sigma T1 power 4 is the heat lost by the first body. Sigma T2 power 4 is the heat absorbed by the second body from the first body. Therefore, the net amount of heat emitted by the body per second per unit area can be taken as the difference of these two. That is sigma T1 power 4 minus sigma T2 power 4. That is nothing but sigma if you take the thing as common thing out. So the net amount of heat emitted is sigma into T1 power 4 minus T2 power 4. This is the form of Stefan's Boltzmann law. So let us recollect yet another thermal radiation law, what is known as Rayleigh-Jean's law. This talks about formula related for energy distribution in thermal spectrum. So according to Rayleigh-Jean's law, the energy distribution in the thermal spectrum is given by this equation. This is the amount of energy released. E lambda is equal to 8 pi kT by lambda power 4, where K is the Boltzmann constant, T is the absolute temperature, lambda is the wavelength. This is about Rayleigh-Jean's law. So on the basis of quantum theory, Max Planck also derived the energy distribution in isothermal spectrum and given his formula as E lambda is equal to 8 pi hc by lambda power 5 into e power hc by lambda kT minus 1. We can derive this anyway. So on the basis of this quantum theory, Planck derived this. H is the Planck's constant, c is the velocity of light, k being the Boltzmann constant, lambda is the wavelength. Now, we shall try to understand the Wien's displacement law. We will arrive at the equation of Wien's displacement law in the next session. So let us summarize. In thermal radiation, we have seen the introductory part of black body radiation followed by properties of thermal radiation. And also we looked at some of the definitions related to spectral energy density, total energy density, emissive power, absorptive power, and black body and its radiation, wherein we have seen Fairy's black body as well as Wien's black body, and then we have seen the energy distribution in black body radiation with an experiment, and then we looked at the various laws.